Happy spooky season to all of those who celebrate, but especially most to Hunter Dickinson. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. This has been No One Asked Us.
Yes.
Happy Monday. Happy
I
Halloween Eve.
I hope he's watching.
I hope Hunter is watching. Happy Halloween Eve to you, Craig. He is Craig Choate. I'm Logan Lee. This is No One Asked Us, episode 102 of this show. We made it past 100 a couple weeks ago, and now we're still chugging along here. So, plenty of things to talk about. I know we're on a time crunch. Craig is going to go hang out with Sky Clark. So
who else would go watch a team coming off of a 4-win season in an exhibition game?
What else do you have to do tonight?
Yeah,
Let's be honest.
It is the sports equinox today.
Yes, and you're choosing to spend it at an exhibition game. Who are they playing?
Kentucky Wesleyan.
Oh, okay. Well, that's something. All right. Yeah, No One Asked Us, episode 102. As always, give us a follow on all of our social media. Like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for being here. Get in the chat. Let us know what's up. And yes, happy Halloween Eve. We'll talk basketball. We'll talk football. We'll do some picks. Let's start at the top with the sad news, I think, of the weekend. Craig, you a Friends guy?
The best, man.
Yeah.
I will defend Friends to all Friends haters till I die. Well, wrong choice of words, but yeah,
that's not the time to use that phrase. But Saturday night we heard of the passing of Matthew Perry. Chandler Bing on Friends. That's obviously what he is most known for. Had a career after that as well on TV and film. But most everybody, especially in our generation, knows him as Chandler Bing in Friends. I'm not. I was kind of late to the Friends game. I think it was about 10 years ago that I acquired the whole show on DVD, and that was really my first run at it. Chandler was my favorite character on the show. Admittedly, I felt like I had some Chandler in me a little bit. But yeah, the passing, the news Saturday night, Matthew Perry, definitely that was pretty hard. That was a pretty hard one, right up there for me with Bob Saget.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would agree. We were I was back in Pinckneyville for our Mardi Gras. We do Mardi Gras in October because that's when the real Mardi Gras is. And it came through right as the parade was happening, and it kind of was like, oh, really? And it wasn't. Well, I know they're not sure what exactly happened, but we know he went through some stuff.
Had some demons.
It doesn't seem to be that was what killed. Or I don't know. It was unexpected. It was unexpected because we thought he was getting better and all that, and then it happened. And yeah, it was. I wouldn't go as far as saying he was my favorite friend on the show, but he made it go at certain times.
Who was your favorite friend?
Joey.
Do you feel like you resemble Joey?
No.
Or you just found Joey the best character?
I do have a friend that reminds me of Joey, but I don't know that I fit with any of the friends.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's obviously the tough news from the weekend. Just wanted to touch on that. He was 54, far too young. Yeah, pretty tough. I started kind of going back and rewatching the show. That might kind of be the next play. Just feel like revisiting it. Feels like it's
talk about that at work today. It will take a while because isn't there 10 seasons of 24 episodes a season?
Yep. There's a lot. Have it all back here on the shelf, but of course it's all on Max, so I don't even need to pull out the DVDs anymore. Anyway, let's move on to some happy things because some happy things did happen for Illinois fans on Sunday. Yes, fully aware. This was an exhibition game. Have you heard, Craig, that this was an exhibition game? Did you get the memo that it was in fact an exhibition game on Saturday or Sunday? Excuse me, Sunday. Did you get that memo? Did you hear that anywhere? It was exhibition.
Did hear that.
Okay, I feel like that's all I heard. Illinois basketball hosted Kansas in the Maui Strong game, an exhibition game on Sunday in State Farm Center. And Illinois beat Kansas, the number 1 team in the country, led by All-American transfer and former villain of the Big Ten, Hunter Dickinson, who have to spell it out here again, has still yet to beat Illinois. 0-5, Hunter is. But yeah, Kansas and Bill Self came to Champaign. Bill Self came back to the arena for the first time in a decade or whatever it's been. And Illinois beats Kansas in an exhibition game, 82-75. This was the most sports I really took in over the weekend, other than watching the Notre Dame game, but that was pretty ugly pretty early, so did kind of tune that out. Did you watch this game in its entirety? Were you back home? Were you back in your place by this point, or were you on the road, or how did this work out for you?
It was more of a listen
Okay.
for me because I was on the road, so I had the phone plugged into my car listening to the broadcast. First takeaway is get Andy Katz off my TV.
You can listen to the radio broadcast. You don't have to listen to the TV broadcast.
Yeah, but I mean, don't turn me into the police here, but there are certain times where I want to see what's happening.
No, I trust me.
So I
do
can
agree.
I can
do some
see
of the
it.
same things.
But for the most part, the phone was laying in the passenger side plugged in. Robbie Hummel makes up for Andy Katz deficiencies. So.
We have. I mean, this wasn't really like documented anywhere. I have to assume that all of the Big Ten Network's main play-by-play guys were doing football.
Yeah.
They're Brandon Gowden and other people that have other football responsibilities. Well, that whether that be on a Saturday or a Sunday. Connor Onion was in East Lansing for Michigan State's game. Yes, friend of the show. Connor Onion was on with Bill Raftery in East Lansing. So he made the trip from Northwestern, I think, on Saturday to Michigan State. Whatever the case, Illinois got Andy Katz, who is a fine reporter. But he is not a play-by-play guy. But yes, Robbie Hummel was there. Let's move on from the broadcasting part. The game itself.
Initial thought was we talked last week about the Ottawa exhibition, and don't take anything that we say during this for anything because it's an exhibition. This was also an exhibition, but this meant something. Like you could learn a lot from this. So even though it's an exhibition and it's not like Terrence Shannon isn't going to have 28 points added to his career scoring at Illinois, you can't deny what you saw on the court. And that was Illinois was the better team against the preseason number 1 team in the country for 40 minutes, pretty much. I'm trying not to get my expectations and hopes up, but this team looked damn good.
Yeah.
They looked damn bleeping good.
Yeah,
and
no, I agree.
I didn't see it coming.
No, I'm with you. I mean, let's take care of a few things here off the top. Yes, obviously this game doesn't count. Both of these teams. I assume Kansas has played one other exhibition game. I honestly don't know if they had or not. I would assume they did, but Illinois, yes, had played Ottawa. Kansas, I'm sure by the end of the year will be fine. But the Kansas team that we saw on the court in Champaign did not look like the number 1 team in the country.
They did not play another exhibition. They have an exhibition tomorrow. Okay,
gotcha. So this was their first game.
No,
Illinois
Wednesday. But anyways,
Illinois at least has had one game under their belt. This is a Kansas team that still needs to gel. This is a Kansas team that needs to work some things out. This is a Kansas team that Bill Self addressed, and they addressed in the broadcast, is not very deep. They have that's one of the Illinois strengths, I think, is they're going to be their depth. That's obviously something that Kansas doesn't really have. I do think Kansas will be fine, but we're here to talk about Illinois. And Illinois, as you alluded to, looked really good in this game on Sunday. There were still some things that are going to be a bugaboo for a while, I think. I don't think we need to dwell on the point guard thing too much today, but that's going to be a thing. Ty Rodgers looked fine at times, but by the end of the game, it was very clear who Underwood wanted on the court, and it was the experienced guys. Marcus Damask was handling the ball quite a bit towards down the stretch. Justin Harmon had the ball in his hands a lot. We didn't really see a lot of the freshmen. So, the point guard thing is still certainly going to be a thing. But the shooting looked okay. The ball movement was fantastic. This is a team that looked like they're ready to compete. You mentioned it last week or 2 weeks ago that you didn't think they were top 25 worthy. I kind of argued that they were, and I think I was right based off of one exhibition game.
Logan, you were right.
But
I'll say it on this show for once.
But things can certainly change. There's a tough non-conference season ahead, so we're going to learn a lot more here really quick. But what we saw on Sunday was obviously very promising. Don't want to take a ton from it, but this is a Kansas team that is the preseason number 1 team in the country. So
you know how I feel about preseason polls, and I think I'm in the majority there, that they're useless and
they are
based on nothing. But what did people see in Kansas that made them number 1? Dickinson, Adams, and
you have the best
McCullough?
Point guard in the country, and you have an All-American center. I mean, that's probably it. I mean, I don't know. What do you want instead? Purdue? I mean, they prove that they don't have a ton outside of Zach Edey. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, I get it. I mean, Kansas is always going to be up there. Duke's always going to be up there. This is just how this stuff works. But I mean, it's Bill Self. It's Hunter Dickinson. Like, there's enough there to, I think, for it to be deserved. But will there be another? There won't be another poll before the season actually starts. So I'll ask this question again. I posed it a few weeks ago. Does this game actually reflect voting for the top 25, even though it's not supposed to? Will this game and others, because there were other interesting outcomes on Saturday and Sunday in college basketball, maybe just on Sunday. So now that we're seeing this is new, this whole, big time programs playing against each other in exhibition games. It used to always just be Illinois playing Ottawa. Like, that was your exhibition game. But now, like, I mean, we just saw, I don't know all of them. Kansas or Michigan State and Tennessee played. I don't remember all the games, but I know there were several high profile exhibition games. So again, I mean, I know it's not supposed to, but like, does this come into play when the voters make when they do their first AP votes in the first week of the season?
You would have to think so.
Have to think it does.
The AP polled top 5 went 0-4 combined this weekend.
Yeah.
That's from Greg Waddell.
Yeah.
Who are the other 4 teams? I don't even know.
I don't know. And you can't actually, like, at least on ESPN, you can't actually see the exhibition scores. So I don't even know how to find all that stuff. But, yeah. So it is what it is. Illinois looked good. Kansas did not look as good. So yay for
Marquette
Illinois.
lost to somebody.
Okay.
It's Kansas, Duke, Purdue, Michigan State, Marquette. So Marquette and Michigan State lost. Did Purdue lose? Purdue or Duke
lost.
Purdue or Duke, one of the two.
These are things we should probably have figured out before.
We didn't know prep work. So
no, prep work is becoming harder and harder for this podcast.
It might have been
I don't know. It's really not important.
I can't look it up. I searched Duke, and all that comes up is Cooper Flag.
Oh, that was a thing too. Purdue lost to Arkansas, 81-77.
Okay.
So again, that was on Saturday, I believe. Again, another high-profile matchup. So we're seeing more and more of these. My point is,
and I think we will continue to.
Yeah, I think so too. Especially when they're for charity and all these things. Like, it's. I think these teams probably like it better. But I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, I mean, other takeaways from the Illinois standpoint. I mean, I think. Well, go ahead.
I mean, the guard play. I think it's only going to be. It could only be an issue late in game when someone needs to bring the ball up the floor. If you look at some of the clips and the highlights, it was some of the best ball movement I've seen from Illinois since Iowa was there. I mean, it was and it's 5 guys 6'5" or taller. It's ridiculous the lineup that Brad can throw out there.
Yeah.
I mean, the first thing I noticed was, I think it was first possession, DeJuan Harris was guarding Marcus, or it was either Marcus or Ty, one of the two, and he just went to the post, caught it, turned around, and shot it right over Harris.
Yeah.
Like, if your starting lineup is all 6'5" or taller, that's got to be it. You got to put Coleman and Quincy started, Gary A. You got to put everyone out, send that 6'6" guard into the post on the 5'10" guard, and just let them go to work. And I loved that early in the game. The defense, I thought, started off a little shaky, but that's what won him the game eventually. I think Dickinson missed his first 5 shots, and they were all in the paint. I mean, the dude Dickinson put up 22 and 9, and I thought he played terrible.
Yeah,
but he still almost had a double, 20 and 10, because he took 20 shots. But no, I mean, it was fun to see what I did see and hear, and I mean, it, like I said, I try not to take too much from it because it is an exhibition, and no, this isn't exactly the lineups that are going to play. And Kansas, obviously, I think they were without one player. I heard Bill Self say they were without someone, but they only played 6 guys really, which that was my biggest takeaway. My bigger takeaways were from Kansas than Illinois.
Yeah.
1, how are they preseason number 1? And 2, they have no depth. Like they had 6 guys play double figures in minutes.
Illinois wasn't much better than I mean,
but you had Sincere at 7 and Danis at 9, so there is more depth with Illinois, but it was fun. I don't know how to describe it. It was fun to see Bill Self back. It was fun to see Kansas playing at the State Farm Center, because that, I don't know if that's ever happened, and no, it doesn't count, but it doesn't mean nothing. Yeah. We'll say that it doesn't mean nothing. There's things to take, and Brad said the same thing. There's a lot to take away from last night.
Yeah, we can go over some of the numbers because, I mean, I was kind of expecting more exhibition game kind of numbers, but this really, as you kind of mentioned, this really resembles what you're actually going to see in a game. Terrence Shannon led the Illini with 28 points. Coleman Hawkins had 14. Gary A. 13. Damask had 11. Gary A. also had 9 boards, so he was almost in double territory. In terms of minutes, it was the 5 starters: Terrence, Coleman, Quincy, Damask, and Ty, and then Harmon played 23 minutes. Luke Goody played 10, Dane 9, Sincere 7. The 2 freshman guards combined for only 5 minutes, and then Hansberry only played 2 minutes himself. So the 3 freshmen combined for 7 total minutes, which kind of surprises me a little bit. I figured that in an exhibition game we'd get a little bit more runway with them, but Brad was really trying to resemble a real basketball game here. And you can tell this. I think that's my biggest takeaway from this whole game is the second half, and primarily the back half of the second half, because it wasn't just like one series of plays, one rotation. It was primarily the entire last 10 minutes of the game. It was the 5 most experienced players on this team, and that we knew that was going to be this team's strength, was going to be their experience. When you can put out as a lineup at the end of your game that consists of 4 fifth-year players and a 4th-year player, 4 fifth-year players and a 4th-year player. That's what you're hoping for. Like that's what the advantage that this team is going to have over a lot of other teams in the country is going to be their experience. Yeah. It may not be the rotation that starts the game, but until Ty Rogers can make free throws and some other things go there certain ways, and Dane Danger can make some free throws, like that's a pretty deadly rotation you can have there at the end of the game in that type of situation. Yeah, and they look pretty good together.
Yeah, that lineup would be Terrence, Coleman, Quincy, Marcus, and Justin.
Right.
And that's, I think all of them, like you said, you went 5th year, 4th year. I think all of them are 22 or older.
Yeah.
23 or older.
Coleman, I think Coleman's like 21 or 20. Yeah, something like that. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a far cry from last year.
Yeah.
I mean, and they kept saying it on the broadcast. I know I dogged on Katz early. He had like 2 things he kept saying. Oh, no one can foul out. I just want to remind you, no one can foul out of this game. He said it every 2 minutes. And then they talked about the experience that Illinois has. And come March, that better pay off.
Yeah.
Because
not
many of them have March experience, but they have college basketball experience.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think those were my main takeaways.
The other one that I just thought of looking at the box score.
Okay.
11 for 27 from 3.
Yeah.
Better than 40%.
Yeah. This team can shoot. Now they're going to be spotty. When you look at the numbers specifically,
I mean, it was all Terrence and Coleman, but
right. And that's the thing. I mean, we've seen Terrence do that before, but Gary A can shoot. Damask can shoot. You have Goody off the bench who can shoot. Like, there are guys on this team that can shoot the ball. They're not going to do that every game, but they can do it. Yeah, the shooting. I was going to mention that. Yeah, the shooting, 40%, 40.7% from 3. Not terrible. 65.6% from the free throw line. Certain players need to be able to make free throws. But we don't need to harp on that too much. Again, I said it last week. I'm going to say it one more time before the season starts. Marcus Damask is going to be the most important person on this team, not named Terrence Shannon Jr. Yes, not named Terrence Shannon Jr. Coleman Hawkins is going to fill up the stat sheet more. He's going to be your triple-double threat. He's going to be your potential draft pick. This offense is going to run through Marcus Damask. I'm not convinced that the Ty Rodgers point guard experiment is going to last the season. And I'm not suggesting that Marcus Damask is the answer at point guard. But if the Rodgers thing doesn't work out, Marcus Damask is the closest thing you have to a true facilitator on this team. And Brad showed it at the end of the game. That's who was his point guard at the end of the game. He's not going to fill up the stat sheet every game. He's not going to be your leading scorer, but he can pass, he can shoot, he has size. He can match up well against certain players. I really do mean that. And I'm not just, this is not just being the Southern Illinois homer in me. Marcus Damask will be the most important player on this team, not named Chandler.
You know what I noticed? And I
What's
know it's been on social media. Fletch is pretty active on social media. He just looks slimmed down.
Yeah. Did you see his comment about the position thing? Yeah.
Yeah.
He
went
from a forward to a guard. Yeah.
He's lost, I think, 15 pounds. But I don't remember what the graph was. His weight has gone down, but his jump has gone up, like his vert has gone up or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, Fletch doesn't get enough credit for this program. He means so much. Do you want to answer Brian's question real quick?
In terms of who on this team is going to need more minutes or needs to play more minutes, or what do we think here?
I think who looking at the box score, who needs more than what they played Saturday? I know the answer.
I'm surprised that Dre Gibbs-Lawhorn only had 3 minutes. I think that's the biggest thing that surprises me. I don't know if that's the answer you're looking for. I think that kind of surprises me a little bit.
Goody.
I mean, you think Luke Goody's the answer?
Yeah.
I mean, there's that
15
run
to 18.
of Goody. Danger only played 9 minutes. I mean, he's supposed to be your true center.
I mean, it's one of those two for me, but I need to see more of Goody. I think you can handle the post with Coleman at the 5, and I think there's enough versatility there. I think it's Luke Goody. I want to see more from him.
That's fair. I agree. Yeah, Dane Danger. I've been kind of workshopping this kind of theory. I'm just going to throw it out there now before we get into the non-conference season.
When you say workshopping, could you say it a couple times a year? What do you mean? Are you in that room, lights off, just
it's all in my head, baby. All in my head.
Okay.
So in college baseball, how you have your weekend starters and your midweek starters.
Yeah.
Your midweek starters, you're going to throw somebody against Illinois State and they're not your weekend starter. They're not
the guy number 4 in the rotation.
Dane Danger is this team's midweek starter. He is you can throw him out there for 7 shutout innings against Illinois State and you're going to get it. You're going to get 7 shutout innings. But you're going to put him in there against Purdue and you might be able to get an inning or 2 out of him. But it's not nearly as effective. Dane Danger was last year and will continue to be the mid-major killer on this team.
That's what I say. He's gonna feast in the non-conference.
He feasts in non-conference. He will get you through several mid-major games where that Terrence doesn't need to do much. That's what Dane's role is.
I'm gonna look up.
But yeah, Brian's right. The Hunter Dane matchup. Yeah, I agree. And there are a lot of good post players in college basketball, but luckily, the Big Ten, it's primarily just Zach Edey at this point.
I'm gonna look up Dane's game log from last year.
Yeah, do that.
Eastern Illinois, 17-10.
Yep.
KC, 20-15.
Yep.
Monmouth, 15-4.
Yep.
He did have 13 against UCLA, but he did not score another double-figure game for more than a month against Bethune-Cookman, 22-6.
He's the guy you can throw him out there. You don't have to waste your ace.
He did have 6 double-digit games in the Big Ten, though.
I'm not saying he's not effective in the Big Ten. I'm not saying he can't get out there and get you a couple innings.
Yeah.
But he is lights out. He is 7 to 8 no-hit shutout innings against mid-major opponents. All right. Anything else basketball related we need to talk about, or should we move on? I know you're kind of on a time crunch, and
I think we can move on.
We've already gotten about half.
We won't have a show next week because the game is Monday.
Yes.
So we'll have a post-game show maybe.
Yeah, so we haven't really talked about all the logistics of this. The plan again is to do post-game shows throughout basketball season. It's probably not going to happen every game, but our plan will be to do that. This coming Monday, a week from today, is the only Monday game on the schedule. So that's the only time that it would interfere with our normal show. But yes, I do believe our plan will be to not do a normal show on Monday, but we will do a post-game show after the Eastern Illinois game. So yeah, that'll be the plan for that. So we will talk.
If they win. If they lose, I'm not talking.
Good point. So I guess we'll talk about Illinois football maybe during that. I don't know if we care.
We'll see what happens. Yeah,
we'll just see what happens. Who knows? Let's move on.
To Illinois football.
Yeah, Illinois football had their bye week this week. Thankfully, probably a good thing that they didn't touch the field. But now they head. Is this game at Minnesota? Or is this home?
So.
Yeah, it's in Minneapolis. So Illinois heads to Minnesota on Saturday, 3:30 kickoff Eastern time on BTN. Minnesota looks like a team that could contend for the division. Illinois looks like a team that could beat Minnesota. Look like a team that could beat Minnesota.
So I say looks like a team or should be a team that could contend, but they're not.
I certainly wouldn't put it past Illinois to go on the road and beat Minnesota. I don't think Minnesota is all that scary, but we've seen this team drastically underperform. The line right now is only 2. Minnesota's only favored by a couple points, so we'll see. I don't know if there's any big. Are there any big notes from the week?
Bielema said today that Keith Randolph and Reggie Love should be with the team this weekend. It's yet to be determined how much they'll play.
And Johnny can't play the first.
Johnny can't play the first half, which they appealed and it was denied. And then there was a lot of talk with the officials from Bielema because he sent in like an appeal on that and it was denied. Iowa sent in an appeal on one of their players that got approved. And then Illinois also talked to the NCAA because the guy who caught the game-winning touchdown did not report a number change. Like he warmed up during the game, like during pregame as number 66, which is not an eligible number to catch a pass. And then he goes in and he's number 93, but he didn't tell anybody he was number 93. So they should have been alerted to that. So Brett is not happy with the Big Ten office as of now. But how about you just make a couple more stops on third down and you're not in that situation. So
But yeah, that's Saturday. We'll see what we get out of this team. Illinois 3-5 right now, 1-4 in the Big Ten. Minnesota 5-3, 3-2 in the Big Ten. This past week around the conference, Ohio State beat Wisconsin on the road. Penn State beat Indiana at home, but that was far closer than I think Penn State wanted it to be. 33-24 ended up being the final, but it was a lot closer than that. The big upset of the weekend was Northwestern over Maryland, as much as that can be an upset. It was. The Minnesota beat Michigan State, and Nebraska beat Purdue. This week, I was thinking there was a bigger game this week than there is, but there's not. Yeah, Illinois, Minnesota, Ohio State goes to Rutgers, Wisconsin goes to Indiana, Nebraska at Michigan State, Penn State at Maryland, Iowa at Northwestern, and then Purdue travels to Michigan. So
Did
a
you
pretty
see
ugly
the-
slate of Big Ten games this week.
Did you see the total over under for Iowa? Northwestern?
Yeah, what, like 21 or something?
I think it opened at 29.5, or it's currently 29.5. It is the lowest total in like gambling history.
What a world.
Do you take the under? And just to say you took the under on the
to say you
29.
did. Right now it's at 31. On
It's at Wrigley
ESPN.
Field. I didn't know that game's at Wrigley
Yeah,
Field.
they're playing that game at Wrigley Field. Yeah.
Are they? I wonder if they're doing it the same that Illinois did and only going one way. Remember that?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably. I don't know how else you could do it, honestly. But yeah, that's the games this weekend around the Big Ten. Around the country, we didn't really talk about this past week. There wasn't a ton to talk about. Most of the good games were kind of blowouts. At least the good games were. Kansas did beat Oklahoma. That ended up being a good game down the stretch. Let's see. Oregon State got upset. No one really cares. North Carolina got beat again. Your Cardinals beat Duke. Air Force won again. UCLA beat Colorado. USC barely got by Cal. USC has just basically fallen off the face of the earth. And then this week we'll do picks. The picks are in here, correct? Yes. So, all right. Let's go ahead and move on to picks. Last week, Craig went a perfect 5-0. Logan went a measly 2-3. Craig has absolutely pulled away from me here in the standings. He's at 26-9 on the season. I'm at 21-14. Yikes. Big yikes. Here's what we're doing this week. I have not had a chance to even look at this, so
I just put him in right before the show.
Great. Notre Dame goes to Clemson. LSU at Alabama. That's the big game of the weekend. Missouri at Georgia. Texas A&M at Ole Miss. Oklahoma goes to Oklahoma State. Kansas State at I can't talk. Kansas State at Texas. UCLA at Arizona. Washington at USC. Oregon State at Colorado. Virginia Tech at Louisville. And then Illinois at Minnesota. Craig, you get first pick. And where are you going? I know where you're going because you never picked them.
What's my thing? There are two teams you never pick on this show. Kentucky, who I picked against last week, and Mizzou, who I'm picking against this week. Georgia.
Can you imagine if Missouri beats Georgia?
Don't even speak that.
Yeah, that's the smartest pick, I would say. Even though Missouri is a top 15 team according to the AP rankings, I think they'll get beat pretty handedly against Georgia. So, all right, good pick for you. Pick one. I'm gonna go. I don't really love any of these. I'll go out west and I'll take Oregon State over Colorado. I'm out on Colorado this year. They might have a future, and they could surprise people and win this game again. And then I'll just continue to be terrible at this. But I'm gonna go Oregon State.
Just keep covering spreads. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
Right here, or right here, whatever it is.
That's the correct one. Yes.
Yeah.
Louisville hosts Virginia Tech. That
is
probably should have been the game I picked, but I'm glad you took it.
That is a game for second place and a berth in the ACC title at the moment. Virginia Tech is 3-1 in the ACC.
Yeah. What a world. What a world we live in.
Louisville should be undefeated, but
I'm going to take Washington.
Probably a good pick.
This is we haven't even mentioned the belt this year. I've got at least one text from one Timothy Lee about the Roosevelt belt.
Washington has it, right?
Washington does still have the belt, yes. They go to USC, who should be better than they are. USC has really struggled, as I just mentioned, barely got past Cal on Saturday. I will take Washington on the road to beat USC.
I am SEC. Give me the Rebs. Ole Miss to beat Texas A&M at home.
Okay, I like it. I'm going to go from West Coast to East Coast. I'm going to take the Fighting Irish on the road at Clemson. I think Notre Dame's pretty good. They've had some hiccups. Clemson,
What's happened to Clemson, man?
I don't know. I think
The line is fishy.
there's some problems there. Yeah, I agree.
The line's fishy. Only
But
3.
I'm going to take Notre Dame on the road.
Okay. Man. 4 more. Don't want that one. I'm going to go Big 12. I'll take Oklahoma. I know Oklahoma State is hot right now, but I think Oklahoma, after their loss last week at Kansas, I don't think they lose 2 in a row.
Okay. So that leaves us with the big one in Tuscaloosa, LSU, Alabama, Texas, Kansas State, UCLA, Arizona, and then the Illini in Minnesota, which we'll pick last. I'll take Texas. I'll take Texas at home. Kansas State.
Texas is still on a backup quarterback.
I'll still take Texas.
Okay.
Yes.
Just wanted to make sure we both had the same information, just make it fair.
Sure. Thanks.
Okay. I just feel like I know more about one of these games than the other one. I don't want to pick this game, but I'm much more clueless on the Pac-12 than I am SEC. I'm going to take LSU. In Tuscaloosa, I'm still going to take LSU to beat Alabama. I know Alabama might have figured some stuff out. I just think LSU still is a better team this year. I'm nervous saying that, but
famous last words.
Yeah,
that's wonderful. I will take UCLA. UCLA is a football school. Future Big Ten opponent.
Dude, the Big Ten is getting so much harder next year.
Yeah.
And everything.
Yeah. UCLA on the road at Arizona. And then lastly, we will both pick the Illinois-Minnesota game. Craig, I'll let you pick first.
As much as I've said I'm out on them, I think they're going to win. I'm going to take Illinois.
That's great. I'll take Minnesota.
Okay.
I think they can win, but I think they will not. So can you recap? Have you been keeping track?
Yep. I've got Georgia to beat Missouri, Louisville to beat Virginia Tech, Ole Miss beating Texas A&M, Oklahoma over Oklahoma State, LSU to beat Alabama, and Illinois over Minnesota. You took Oregon State to beat Colorado, Washington over UCLA, Notre Dame over Clemson, Texas to beat Kansas State, UCLA to beat Arizona, and Minnesota to beat Illinois. You like your Pac-12.
They're the best conference in football.
Games and 1 Big 12 game.
They're the best conference in football. All right. Do we need to talk about anything else? College football? Do we need to talk about Michigan? Where are you at on Urban Meyer to Michigan State? You buying in on the rumors?
Let's stay in the. Let's do other Big Ten news. Brian Ferentz.
Oh yeah,
just got the boot.
Yeah, sort of. They're letting him finish out the year.
Yeah, but why? Why?
Because his dad's the head coach.
I've never understood that. If it was Kirk coming out right now and being like, "Hey, I'm retiring at the end of the year," yeah, I'll finish. But if you're getting fired, why would you want to finish the year? I know it's unusual because he is coaching for his dad, like you said, and he's been at that university since he was 5 years old. It's just weird to me. I don't know. It's weird. What was the other thing you said? Michigan? More Michigan stuff?
Michigan State. Urban Meyer apparently might be going to Michigan State. Probably not, but those rumors are circulating again.
I've been hearing that since they fired Tucker.
Yeah, well, it's kind of popped back up today, I think. But I don't know.
Well, I saw that there's something to do with Harbaugh's contract at Michigan. They rescinded a contract extension after all this stuff. So I think the assumption is he's done at Michigan after this year. And I've already heard that there are rumblings in Ann Arbor of going after Leipold from Kansas, which scares me because he's built Kansas into a football power. That's incredible because they shouldn't be.
Well, the Big Ten's about to get a lot tougher, so it really shouldn't matter.
Dude.
All right. Anything else college football you want to talk about, or do we need to move on to something else?
I think that's it from me.
Okay. Playoff baseball. We've switched to pumpkins. 'Tis the season. Playoff baseball World Series Game 3 tonight. It's 1-1, right?
It is 1-1.
I'm kind of all on board the Diamondbacks train at this point.
I am too.
I was pulling for the Phillies, honestly. Maybe that's the Kyle Schwarber fan in me, but since that's over, I mean, why not? Why not the Diamondbacks?
I like them both, to be honest. So I don't really care.
Is it because of Tommy Pham?
I don't like Tommy Pham.
No,
he's one of the few former Cardinals that I'm not a huge fan of.
Why is that?
When he left St. Louis, he had some things to say, which
Hmm.
he might not have been wrong looking back at the situation the Cardinals are in now. So he might have been in the right, but yeah, he's not one of my favorite former Cardinals.
Okay.
I'll say that. I don't hate
Okay.
him, but there are other former Cardinals that I like better. Speaking of, Adam Wainwright officially retired. Did you see what he put on his retirement papers?
Yes, because he got a dog.
I'm done. I got a puppy. I can't do this. It's not because I had a 7.27 ERA this year.
It's because I got a puppy. Yeah, that's great. Game 3 tonight in Arizona. The roof is open.
First World Series game there since 2001, I think they said.
Yeah,
it would have had to be. Yeah. Who hit the walk-off? That's the dozen daily trivia question today.
Luis
Who hit
Gonzalez.
The walk-off? Yep.
I knew that one. I don't do as well in that game as I thought I would.
Oh, I crushed that game.
I know.
They're
I see
so much
your
easier.
tweet every single day. I mean, I'm a lock to get at least 6.
Yeah.
But there's like always like a couple in there that like if I sat there and thought about it for long enough, I would get it. But I eventually just give up.
I've realized there's normally a theme.
Yeah, there's has been. Today
to
there was a theme, a little
Halloween
bit of a theme. You can also tell it some days, and they've tweeted it sometimes, but certain people choose.
Yeah, they put their handle in the corner.
Yeah, so you can kind of go off of that too.
Yeah.
That kind of helped me one day. I'm not a huge, I don't follow everything, but I kind of knew one person. But anyway, yeah, you got to get going. You got to go see our boy Sky. So
yeah.
You're just cycling through the various Halloween backdrops.
Yeah, you can't really see them because we're taking up too much of the screen.
No. Are you celebrating Halloween tomorrow?
The office is dressing up, but I don't have a costume. I might just throw my Ted Lasso stuff on.
Ted Lasso, there it is. Why not?
I don't want to shave, though. Think I can do Ted Lasso with a beard?
Yeah, it's fine. Nobody cares.
I might do that.
That's wonderful. Yep, we might have like 3 trick-or-treaters, so don't think I'll be dressing up for work. But yeah, and then my time starts Wednesday.
One of my other coworkers said she put up her tree this weekend.
My tree is not up, but the plan.
The lights are on the house. I know
the lights are on the house. The lights will get turned on. The lights have not been on yet. Calm down, Craig.
Mm-hmm.
God, but yeah.
I told you last year our thinking is changing because around the holidays we leave for like a week. So if you put them up after Thanksgiving, and then you take away that, like, you don't really get your Christmas experience. So we might put them up a little earlier, but I just don't like shaping the tree, man. If I could, you want to come shape the tree, and then I can put the decoration and stuff on. Sure. I just don't like shaping the tree.
I'll come help. I enjoy it. My favorite time of year. All right. I think we've covered everything. You got to go see Sky. I got to go eat.
One of these times, I'm going to go get like front row seats at a Louisville game and just wear my Illinois jersey.
You should have.
Just to see what Sky says.
See if you can get Toby Maguire to get you a ticket.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. That's going to do it. He's Craig. I'm Logan. This is No One Asked Us. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for getting in the chat. If you're watching this later on, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening wherever you get your podcasts. We will be back next Monday, but it will not be at this time. We will do a post-game show after the Eastern Illinois game, assuming Illinois doesn't lose.
Yeah.
So yeah, but then after that, we'll probably be back on just a Monday schedule with post games mixed in there most of the time. Yeah, I think we'll shut it down. For Craig, I'm Logan. We will see you guys next week.